So the double blip is often the foundation of how we do most obstacles. And a lot of you guys are familiar with how you do it on a gas bike. Gas bike's a little different. We're used to consistent throttle power and delivering it with the clutch. So if I were on handlebars, this first snap, and then you do the double blip with the clutch. Now, of course, the Stark doesn't have a clutch, you just have the throttle, so the delivery of power is coming straight from the throttle, and it's a little bit different, but your body position and technique is the same. So let's go ahead and examine my body position up this obstacle. While it's not necessarily undercut, I'm still using the same technique to get over it and maintain traction. So as you can see, I'm lifting the front tire and driving into the face. My body moves forward, then back to maintain traction. This clip you can see a little better. We're going to pause for a second. I'm leaning forward. The bike then continues on its path, and we get our weight back in order to keep traction up the top and not end up over the bars or something bad happening. Now this next clip is a great way to see my body positioning, but it's on a gas bike. Anyways, I'm going to compress the forks and tap the front. As the front hits, I explode forward to get lift. Body goes straight back to maintain traction and gently drop the front over the K-rail. But our throttle input is going to be 2 snaps. It takes a little bit of time to get used to just that movement. It's important to learn how to lift the front end of the Stark. And if you have the ability, a good way to practice that is to do front end hops. So if you look carefully at that hand, and we'll slow it down in post, I'm just barely cracking that throttle on while using the brakes. Let's demo a double blip real quick. Two snaps of the throttle. Now, our front wheel placement is very important as well. So, like I said, body position for the double blip on the Stark is the same. The difference is the way we put throttle and power down. Now, our wheel placement is important. I would say the general tip, place the Stark front wheel an inch lower than you'd want to place a gas bike. That helps compress the forks and get your rebound so that your rear tire can almost hop up to the top of the log instead of driving your skid plate into it. So if I were to do this log again in slow motion, I would almost want to place my tire right about there. A lot of times guys get into the habit of wanting to sit on top, and what that does is it just slams your skid plate or battery or whatever it may be. If you place a little bit lower, you'll get a little more compression out of the forks and get the rebound to come up while the fan clicks on. The same gist, I'm going to just do it from having my front tire placed. My final tip for you guys on the Stark Varg is be a little bit more patient than what you're used to. If you're used to putting down power with a snap, snap, the Varg needs to be a little slower. You'd almost snap, snap. Be patient. It's super easy to get in a rush when you're hitting logs like that, especially on the Varg. So be patient. Other thing, don't be afraid to drop horsepowers. If you want to try in 30 horsepower and it works for you, try in 30. It might not have as much give off the bottom, but might be a little bit easier to control.
Did you get all that, or you're next?
So for shits and giggles, we're gonna watch Keith do it, and we'll point out. Hit your front tire a little bit higher than middle, and then give your second throttle input.
Hit my front tire halfway.
A little bit higher than halfway.
And then
give your second little bit of throttle, and stay on the bike.
Standing?
Yes. That was a great start.
That wasn't very good.
He contradicts it. Anyways, the other thing is start small. If you guys want to start on a log that's tiny, that's a good way to get used to tapping your front tire first. We get into the habit of wanting to drive straight to the rear tire, and Once you get onto bigger logs, that's when it shoots you over the bars. There was no second blip on that one. It was one consistent. And I just pile drove a rock on the other side.
I just drove it off.
Main foundations of riding hard enduro, along with the pivot turn, and we can talk about that a little bit later. But it transfers right to other obstacles. For example, this one. It's got a decent run up and a decent ramp for me, but I still need to drive the front tire into that knuckle. The difficult thing about this obstacle is holding pressure at the top, where I can continue to wheelie off, because if I don't, I'll go down and, you know, end up on my head over the bars. We're gonna hit the front tire right on that knuckle, let the rear tire drive up, and keep my weight back so I can hold pressure in a wheelie over the top. You guys can rewind a couple times, just listen to what my bike sounds like. I know it's harder because it's an electric bike, but you still have some noise that you can try and mimic and get the same sound out of your bike.
Do it again.
Do it again. Okay.
Yeah, do it one more time so we can see it again. Nice.